Hey guys, we're doing a little bit of road tripping today. Something's followed me home. Hang around, check it out. Hey guys, something has followed me home. We got a new toy to play with. This is a 1996 Argo Conquest 8x8. Well, the unit came with the snowplow. It's 6 foot wide, barely fits in the trailer here. It's nice width. We've got the Super Tracks. Apparently this thing had a soft top on it at one time. I'd love to have that going again. Looks like the holes drilled up here where the windshield would have mounted. Likewise, I'd love to have a windshield on this thing. So got the winch to work with the snowplow up the front, and it's been converted over to LED headlights so that it doesn't draw as much power, because when you're plowing snow with this thing a fair bit, it doesn't produce a whole lot of power, and the incandescent headlights were drawing it down pretty good. Came with a couple of spare tires that are pretty well done. You can kind of see the green slime leaking out of the sidewall on that tire. It does need a little bit of work. The shift lever appears to be slightly tweaked. Can't shift it over into high gear without running into the handlebars. I want to check the oil, air filter, that kind of thing. Just give it a quick once over. But need to get it in someplace where we can kind of wipe some of the road salt and grime off of this thing. As you can see, got into some nasty weather while I was driving last night. Considering the amount of snow I was driving through, there certainly isn't much on the ground. But at this time of year, anything's good. Hopefully we'll be able to get the snowmobiles going shortly. I'm going to take this out to a buddy's workshop where hopefully we can knock some of the road grime off of it and take a look at a couple of the routine things, and then we're going to take it for a little drive. I can't record in that workshop, but I'll bring you guys back when we're going to take this thing out for a little spin. We've got the Argo in the storage building right next door to this project. I don't know, have I got something for tracked vehicles? We've got a few things that we need to address on this. I want to give, a quick little look. Oil, check the oil in the engine, check the oil in the gearbox, check the air filter, that kind of thing. One thing I did notice while I was taking it off the trailer though is it is really idles low, like it almost is just barely ticking over, tick, 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 tick type of thing. It doesn't have enough energy to trigger or turn off the oil light. So we don't want to let it sit idling at that low of an RPM for very long. A couple things that I've already done to it. We got a hook on the winch instead of just a shackle. And we straightened the shift handle. It was bent over so that you couldn't get over into high gear without the shifter hitting the handlebar. So now we can get into all of the gears. We've got reverse, neutral, low, although it lines up with neutral, neutral again, and then all the way over into high gear. And that seems to work well. It's an absolute hoot to drive. It's something totally different than what I've driven before. The Trackster, because it doesn't have the big handlebars, it just has a little T-handle. It's, hydrostatic. You're steering like this. This thing, of course, you got differential braking, and you're using the brake levers just like a motorcycle brake. Pull the oil dipstick. I did check the oil on it before I picked it up, and it was, adequate level. But let us see what we got going on here. Looks like we're a little on the low side, but the oil looks pretty clean. Let's check the air filter while we're here. I don't really want to lose these bolts down in the belly pan because digging stuff out of the belly could be a bit interesting. That filter looks like it's brand new. Wondering if this thing just recently had a service. looks good. Now, you guys can't see it, but way down in the belly here, well, it's not that far down, is the dipstick for the transmission. Pull that, and it looks, at first glance, it looks like it's a little bit cloudy, but it's actually not. It's just that clean. And we are up above the mark on the dipstick, or just, ever so slightly above the mark on the dipstick. That is good. One other problem that I've noticed when I was running things around here is that the motor's idle way down. So let's take a look and see if we can figure out what's going on there. Maybe adjust it up a little bit. So we've got this cable here is the choke, and that one appears to be the throttle. Well, I don't know whether you guys can see it or not, but I can see why we're idle down so low. We haven't even got an idle screw. That would definitely explain things. Let me go dig around in the junk bin here and see if I can find something that'll fit in there. I'll bring you back in a minute. I found a screw that's just about perfect to fit into the threads there in the motor, and I don't think this is a metric screw. I think this is a SAE, and I think the socket on the engine, given it's a Kawasaki, is most likely metric, but definitely this screw just slides right in. However, it slides in a little bit too loose, so I just taken, I don't know if it shows up on camera, give her a couple of love taps with a hammer to kind of mash over the threads, make kind of like a lock assembly. We'll try that. I'll get it started in here, and I'll show you how the engine is idling. I needed two hands to get it started, but the screw is started in there. It's just kind of bumping up against the throttle cable here. So we'll start it up, and I'll let you hear how this thing is just barely ticking over. And as you can see, the oil light is staying on. Oil light is off now. I think that's a little bit high. You have to kind of strike a delicate balance between engaging the clutch, and as you can see, the clutch is engaged. We don't want to have it spinning over too fast when we put it in gear, because otherwise it goes clunk. As you can see, the belt is spinning over there. And again, we're down to the point where we haven't got oil pressure. That's a nice clean engagement into reverse. Goes into all of the gears. And now that we're in gear, you can see that the belt is no longer spinning. I think we want to give it just a little bit more. I want to get that oil light off. Hey, there we are. In the manual, I did read the idle RPM is supposed to be like 1200, 1300 RPM. And I don't even know if we're spinning over quite that fast now. The machine isn't creeping, so that's a good sign. That's high gear, neutral, low, neutral, reverse. Sounds like we're getting good engagement in all of them. And we're not getting a massive stumble off of when we rev it up either, so that's a good sign. I also have checked the condition of the coolant, and it is good down to minus 37. So that should be acceptable. And there's the LED headlights. The old incandescent ones down below here have been disconnected and LEDs hooked up. The previous owner was using this primarily for plowing snow, and of course he wasn't revving it up lots. And the engine doesn't produce a whole lot of power with it being at idle. I let the motor sit long enough while I went in town and picked up a liter of oil to dump in it, and the oil is pretty clean. As I say, I think it's just been serviced, and it looks to me, I don't know how well it shows up for you, it looks to me like it's up about there, which is way too high, and it definitely doesn't need any dumped in it. I think we're going to leave well enough alone for the time being. We'll keep an eye on it, make sure that it's going to do the job and it's not consuming any oil, and maybe we'll suck a little out of it after we've run it a little bit if necessary. But I think we're in good shape here now with being able to run this thing. Now it's time to take it for a spin.